Hello, Dave and the Barstool team. My name is Sasha Brathwaite. I'm the CEO of the Children's Workshop. The Children's Workshop is an organization that provides care to children 6 weeks to 12 years old. We currently operate in low-income communities in Rhode Island. And I just want to show you around. Right now, we are in a childcare facility that I had to close. So it is completely empty at this time. We had originally 3 classrooms in here, infants, toddlers, and preschool. We have been in business for 30 years, and this year has been one of the toughest years, and we need help. We originally were owned and operated by a family business. It started with Dave McDonald. He owned a mortgage company and realized that his female employees weren't coming back to work after having babies, so he opened up a childcare facility and quickly expanded to throughout Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Then, planning his retirement, he started selling off the childcare facilities to other companies, and kind of got left with just a core amount of childcare facilities in the state of Rhode Island that kind of service low-income communities. And when that happened, the goal was to become a nonprofit. And this year, we finally became a nonprofit as of August 31st, 2020. But we now aren't really eligible for a lot of the things that are available to other small businesses. An example that I'll give you is the PPP loan. So we originally got the PPP loan under the C Corp and kept all of our employees, and even though we were closed for about 2 months, kept paying them to get the full forgiveness, and so that our employees would still be engaged and come back to us. And throughout this time, it's obviously been very difficult because we don't even receive enough money to pay for our occupancy costs, and 80% of our students or the children that we serve are state subsidy children. So they are eligible for the Child Care Assistance Program. And before the pandemic, that we barely broke even then. And so now we have all these kids who qualify for state assistance. Yes, the state has given us increased rates, but that probably covered the costs before the pandemic, and now we have additional costs and additional things that are going on. And now we're struggling. 60 to 90% of our revenue is going to payroll. None of it is paying for, obviously, utilities, rent, other services. We're not eligible for the second round of the PPP loan, and that's because the donation of the schools under the nonprofit kind of makes us ineligible because we can't show the 25% decline in revenue in the same tax ID. We can show it, if you compare the schools without the tax ID, but because they're now in different tax IDs, we're not able to prove that out to the IRS or to the people who grant the PPP loan. And that's really hard. To just even deal with, because we've been operating, we service about we have spots to service 700 children in Rhode Island, and we probably have around 300 children attending. So our revenues and our enrollment has dropped about 46 to 50%, and all of our occupancy costs have been the same. Our rents are the same. It's just been really hard. And even the child care relief funding that's supposed to come through the government, it's tied up in who knows what. We haven't seen a lot of it or any of it. We did get a grant, I would say, through the state, and we applied in August and then didn't even see the cash for that until December. So it's just been quite the struggle to operate a childcare facility at this time. And by closing the school that I'm in right now, I was consolidating our operating costs and moving our enrollment over to a school that's a few miles down so that we could try to save as much as we can. And trust me, we've done it all. We've cut our transportation. We've cut outside contractors, we've cut our enrichment programs, and that goes like against everything that I believe, right? Because we're trying to educate kids and young kids and preschoolers and give them this level of learning, and we're cutting out our music programs, and we're cutting out our yoga programs, and we're cutting out our gross motor movement programs. And it's really sad to have these people not have the access to the education that they deserve and that they need. We have our parents who are struggling, who are single moms, and when we close, they can't go to work, and they can't afford their bills and their rent. And, you know, we have tuition that we have. It's just really hard to even ask for money and for help, and to even feel like everything, all the analysis that I do and all the cost-cutting measures that I'm doing still isn't enough to keep us going long term. And I got an invoice today for a roof that needs to be replaced in one of our sites. It's going to cost us about $100K to replace. And like the bills just keep coming, and they don't stop, and they're not like slowing down. And I don't see how we continue to make it for this year. And I'm not someone who likes to fail, and I'm not somebody who likes to ask for money either. This has just been one of the hardest 365 days of my life, and I would appreciate any assistance that you guys can provide to keep these children in our programs where they're safe and they are fed and their parents can go to work without worrying about what's going on with them. And we can provide them with all the learning development milestones and guidance that they need to be successful people in life. So thank you so much for listening to me and for hearing this video, and I appreciate your time. Bye.